All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great episode on your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Now, I want us to listen carefully to this. Don't name structure after me, Peter Obi tells cleric after donating 20 million naira. The former governor of Anambra State and the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, has declined the proposal to have a magnificent hall at Shanahan College of Nursing Sciences, Nsukka, named after him. Speaking after Obi presented a check of 20 million naira to support the institution's ongoing infrastructural development, the school's manager, Reverend Father Kelvin Caesar, informed the audience that the hall where the event was held was being solely funded by Obi and that it would be named in his honor. In a swift response, Obi declined the honor, explaining that he was building similar structure in over 50 institutions across Nigeria, that it would be inappropriate if all of them were named after him. He emphasized that his contributions to education, healthcare, and poverty alleviation were motivated by deep commitments to securing a better future for Nigerian children. So, Nigerians, you have a good man who can fix your nation. Several other things have happened, but we are just bringing this out. We are singling this out. You have a good man who can fix this nation. It is left for you to enthrone him against the wishes of the evil and corrupt political class. And that takes me to one of my top stories for today. EFCC chairman is now blaming Nigerians for supporting corruption. He said the citizens of this country celebrate corrupt leaders. And while some Nigerians turned back on him, saying that he is also working for a corrupt leader, other Nigerians said he might be sending a subtle message to the people. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update from Southwest began making the rounds. Muslims in the Southwest are now declaring war on one another over the proposed introduction of Sharia law. Before I show you details of the top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you these updates. The first one here is a video of one of the Yoruba Muslims paid to sell Yoruba land to the Fulanis in the name of loyalty to Islam. Watch him trying to deceive Nigerians on Arise. See the video.
I would like to say that the issue is not about establishing Sharia court in Southwest. What we are talking about is Sharia arbitration panel, but maybe because of deliberate misinformation or ignorance, that's why people here and there shouting imposition of Sharia law or Sharia court in Southwest Nigeria. It is never about Sharia court, but Sharia arbitration panel. And when we're talking about arbitration panel, arbitration generally is one of the methods of alternative dispute resolution. And in this sense, arbitration panel is a process whereby neutral individuals are chosen to resolve a conflict between two or more parties. And when we include the word Sharia, it means we are talking about resolving the conflicts in line with Sharia principle. That is, if the parties involved are Muslims and they are willing to use Sharia principles, because it is not something that we can force on any Muslims. It is willingly. Even someone is a Muslim and is not willing to use the panel to resolve a conflict, nobody can force him, not to talk of non-Muslims. And this panel we are talking about is there to look into the issue of the civil and marital issues among Muslims. And this is a command in the Quran, the holy book of the Muslim, the Quran chapter 49 verse 9, that if two or more parties are quarrel, if there is a quarrel between two or more parties among the believers, we must make peace between them. And that is what we are trying to practice.
You heard that. Imam Murtada Ajibowo there, a thorough Yoruba man who is willing to sell his people to the Fulani oligarchy in the name of Sharia. As annoying as that video was, I almost burst out laughing when he said Sharia does not include forcing people to conform if they are not willing. These people really think that others are fools. The same Sharia that established their own police force called Hisbah Police in northern Nigeria. Hisbah goes about arresting people during fasting. They will say that everybody must fast, and if you are not fasting, you must not dare eat in public. The same Hisbah that goes about arresting people in beer parlors, peacefully drinking their alcohol. And this man is telling us here that they will not force people to conform. What a joke. And the truth and undiluted truth is that if Sharia finds its way to southwest Nigeria, that will be the end of the Yorubas. It is not something that happens overnight. The process is very insidious. Little by little, they will be soaking up the region. They will be brainwashing everyone with the dictates of Sharia. And when they are done many years later, you will find a Fulani man being a governor of Ekiti State, of Oyo and Ogun State, Ondo State, Lagos State, because he is the best Islamic school graduate. And that will be the end of the Yoruba race, just like they did with the Hausa race. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Toby Akimbo says, "So you guys no longer operate or believe the Nigerian civil justice system in conflict resolution to the point that you have to set up your own Islamic justice panel, and the fact that you are establishing it in all southwestern states with the intention to conquer the region." That is what it is. That is exactly what it is. And Adeyemi here says, after Sharia arbitration, then you will sneak in Sharia court. No, please. And Niger Truth here says, Ogun, Shango, Egbesu, etc. worshippers too should set up their own arbitration too. Make we kuku know say Nigeria is lawless and everything goes. That is it. Let other religions, all other religions also begin to set up dispute settlement panels. This man here is deceiving us that they are bringing in the Sharia for settlement of disputes. Is it settlement of disputes that they are using it for in other parts of the country? Or you think the people are fools or what? And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, details of our top stories began making the rounds. First is that update coming out of the EFCC. The EFCC chairman is now calling out Nigerians for supporting corrupt leaders, a remark that has drawn mixed reactions from Nigerians. The people are saying, is this man no longer aware that he works for the most corrupt leader, or is he inciting Nigerians to rise against his boss? And next is that update coming out of southwest Nigeria. The chairman of the Muslim rights concern, MURIC, is pointing out the war between Yoruba Muslims over the move to establish Sharia courts in the southwest. Let's start by taking that update coming out of EFCC. I know that the EFCC is also a very corrupt body, but on this occasion, I want to ignore the messenger and stick with the message. Look at how the papers reported it. Nigerians defend corrupt leaders, yet complain about corruption. Olukoyede. Olukoyede said underdevelopment would be a thing of the past if every citizen sees corruption as a common enemy. Everybody is crying that Nigerians are corrupt, that the system is corrupt, that corruption is killing us and destroying our system, he said, while receiving officials of the Center for Crisis Communication, led by Chris Olukolade, on Friday in Abuja. According to Olukoyede, collaboration and synergy with the CCC will boost strategic communication and public engagement, adding that the public support is crucial to the EFCC's success. He stated the EFCC will partner to raise public awareness on its activities and the importance of integrity among Nigerians. When we investigate high-profile cases and arraign people in court, the same people will carry placards and be supporting corrupt leaders. It doesn't show that we are serious about this fight. The fight is supposed to be a collaborative effort. No single agency can do it alone. It is practically impossible for us as EFCC to fight all the battles. The society has a role to play. Policy has a role to play. And the issue of welfare of the citizens has a role to play. The EFCC's boss also spoke on the trajectory of his leadership, saying he has prioritized prevention over enforcement since coming on board. You heard that. And like I said, I will ignore the messenger and pick the message. Now, a lot of people will be quick to castigate the EFCC boss Olukoyede for that speech. But if I join them, I will be a hypocrite. Because he said what I have been saying here almost every day. He's saying the fight against high-profile corruption cannot be done without the support of the public. And that is true. Corruption in Nigeria is thriving because people don't revolt. Every single corruption, including corruption in the judiciary. When the Supreme Court upheld Tinubu's election, there were soldiers outside the Supreme Court as if we were going to have a war. Why? Because the corrupt political class knew how bad what they were going to do was. So they expected the people to revolt. So they had police and soldiers everywhere outside the court. But tell me, what can 300 or 400 police and soldiers do in the face of 20 to 30,000 Nigerians? Nothing. So if Nigerians had come out en masse to revolt, they would have had their mandate back. But what happened? The people never revolted. And that is how corruption is allowed to persist in this country. And look at how Nigerians react. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet by Oladipo says, "This man is being too loquacious. What is the difference between you, who works for a corrupt man, and people who defend corrupt leaders?" And Jerry here says, "I don't like this guy, but he is speaking the truth. However, you should understand that our problem is the seeming selection of whom to punish. That takes away justice." And Sanusi here says, "Nigerians often defend corrupt leaders due to ethnic or religious loyalty, despite complaining about corruption. This sentiment-driven defense undermines justice and enables corruption, hindering national development." That is it. If Nigerians are serious, they will unite against the political class. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that update from the Southwest began making the rounds. Look at how the papers reported it. MURIC urges Inspector General of Police to prevent violence against Southwest Muslims. The Muslim Right Concern has raised an alarm over what it called increasing threats of violence against Muslims in the Southwest region of Nigeria, particularly Yoruba Muslims. The group has called on the Inspector General of Police, the Director General of the Department of State Security, and other security agencies to act swiftly to prevent further escalation of these threats. In a press release issued on Friday, Professor Ishaq Akintola, the Executive Director of MURIC, mentioned the growing tension in the region due to the ongoing debates and discussions surrounding Sharia law. Akintola expressed concern over a series of threats targeting Yoruba Muslims and their leaders, which have been spreading via social media and other platforms. We are constrained to call the attention of the Inspector General of Police, the Director General of the DSS, and other security agencies to stop the plot to unleash violence on Southwest Muslims. The plot thickens daily as a new threat are issued by different Yoruba groups, Akintola said in the statement. He explained that one of the most recent threats came from a man named Ahmed Saliu Olokoju, who identified himself as the Secretary General of the Yoruba Islamic Salvation Front, a group previously unknown. In a statement titled "Sharia in Yoruba Land, the Fulani Grand Plot to Destroy Yoruba Land," Olokoju accused Yoruba Muslims supporting Sharia of being Fulani agents, an allegation Akintola condemned as baseless and inflammatory. He added that Olukoju's statement contained direct threats to those advocating for Sharia law, warning of a holy war against them. This is a plot to set the Southwest on fire. And when you hear all these things, you have to remove your mind from thinking that these are just mere threats. This man, Olukoju, and I believe Sunday Igboho is also going to speak about this very soon. They understand what is on ground. They understand what these Fulanis are about to do. That's why he said the Yorubas that are speaking for Sharia are Fulani agents. I am telling you, they will pay them any amount just for them to continue to back this Sharia, because they know what they stand to gain when they capture the Southwest. And it's not just that we are saying it, we are not sweet talking. This is the same thing they did with the Hausas in northern Nigeria. This was how they entered northern Nigeria, entered the Hausas using religion. Today, they have relegated, you hardly find anybody now who will say, I'm pure Hausa from northern Nigeria. What you see everywhere is Fulanis. The people they send to high places in government. Go to any place in Nigeria, they tell you somebody from Katsina is heading this place, somebody from Kano, somebody of Sokoto descent is heading this place. Investigate. Is a pure Fulani man. And it was not so at the beginning. At the beginning, it was not so. But they entered, infiltrated that region using religion until the people lost their identity. Now, we are talking about northern Nigeria. Even in Kwara State, they did it. Came to Kwara State, helped them to fight a war, and after the war, they say, okay, Fulani people, you have helped us, take money and go. They say, no, just give us land. Just give us land, let's stay around. And that was how they stayed around. They began to multiply, brought in the Sharia, and before you knew it, today, the Emir of Kwara State is a Fulani man. They changed from Oba to Emir. Go to the Kwara State Civil Service. People positioned in high places there are all Fulanis. The state is gone. And that is the same thing they are trying to do in the Southwest. So the Yorubas should not be oblivious of these threats. Now, let's take a few tweet reactions. This tweet here by Oyela Olatunde says, this MURIC is a big Olori Brukweda who wants to start a religious war in Nigeria. If Christians can be killed in northern Nigeria, why can't Muslims be attacked in Southwest? Any Muslim that joins fanatics in Southwest will face consequences. Now, this is the kind of approach that Yorubas need to ensure that Sharia does not come to their place. They have to stick together. Anybody that is supporting this Sharia in the name of anything must be treated as an outcast. It's not something that you can just massage. Because if you feel that maybe you are 50 or 60 years old and you feel that the takeover of the Southwest by the Fulanis is not going to happen in your own lifetime, that is a selfish way to think. You have to think about the people coming behind you that will no longer have a home. It is so wrong. And this tweet here says, MURIC should stop playing politics with religion in Southwest. He is the rat that wants to sell us to the Fulanis. We are all brothers and sisters in Southwest. There are some extremists from the three major religions in the Southwest, but there has never been a case of physical attack or violence. This guy is saying there are Christian extremists in the Southwest, there are Muslim extremists in the Southwest, and there are traditional religion extremists in the Southwest, but they have never resorted to physical violence. That the physical violence that is going on now, that the war that is happening now is sponsored by this man himself. And I believe that to be true. Because just a few days ago, they attacked Isheshe worshippers. That is traditional, religion worshippers, when they were doing their ritual and all that. They came out, Muslims came out to attack them. And I'm sure that this man is the sponsor of that attack. But now he's trying to twist it that it is other Muslims that are planning to attack them. What a shameless man. But I am not surprised. He is an APC chieftain, and that is what his party has come to do, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But on these occasions, the Yorubas must be up and doing. All hands must be on deck. All the hands of the good people of the Southwest must be on deck to ensure that the Fulanis don't take over their region. Anyway, make I leave am here. make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Na I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go away.